Hello, everyone, and good morning. Welcome to our live feed update for August 19th. I'm your host, Taran Armstrong, and I am here today to update you on everything that happened yesterday on the Big Brother 25 live feeds. It was day 17 in the house, and oh boy.
Yeah, you know, the longer and longer some people stay in that house, the more and more opportunities they have to put some ranch dressing on their foot before they put it in their mouth. Like it's just like, yeah, it it started off fine for the most part, and then I just feel like as the day progressed, it just started to like it's like what's going on over there?
Yeah, for a good portion of the day, I was like, look at Big Brother 25 settling into its groove.
Mm-hmm.
There's stuff happening, but it's like it's minor stuff. It's stuff on the periphery of the main stuff, and
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
this'll be an easier update. And then Jared.
I feel like I feel like I jinxed myself because when I drafted him, I remember saying Jared can do no wrong in my eyes unless he starts acting an ass. And lo and behold, it's like my draft is so miserable this year. One gets kicked for saying the N-word, the other one is the second one out of the house, and now my last one.
Yeah. Well, we're gonna get into it all here today. Um, so just to get you up to speed here, of course, let me pull up this graphic if you're watching along. This is the wrong one. This one is the one that I want. Here's the current state of the house here as we left it off on day 16 with Felicia having won the HOH. Her plan was to nominate Cameron and Jag with the intention of backdooring Heisem. That was the plan heading into today. And that's pretty much all we need to catch you up on for this week so far. We did start the day with what I thought would be the big Jared news of the day, which is which I'm glad I have him on here on for. Which we got a little bit of Beyonce.
You know, I reached the part of my fanship and fandom and my parasocial relationship with Beyonce Giselle Knowles Carter, where I don't have to be one of those worker bees in the beehive that is continuously stinging everybody else because they are refusing to accept the queen for what she is. So I'm a lot calmer, okay? But with that being said, don't you ever in your life fix your lips to say that Beyonce does not write her own music. Yes, there are some songs that have a lot of other writing credits on here, but people don't understand that Beyonce is such a producer. Do you know who wrote the harmonies for Destiny's Child back in the 90s? Beyonce, okay? Do you know who produces most of her own damn tracks? Beyonce. Her ear is unmatched. Her talent is unmatched. Her choreography is unmatched. Her singing ability within itself is unmatched. So for you to press your lips, and not just Jared, but Bowie as well, for y'all to sit up here and praise people like the likes of Taylor Swift, and don't get me wrong, I don't want no beef with the Swifties. She's great. She's a talented lyricist, one of the most talented lyricists of our generation. I will say. But to compare her to Beyonce, Giselle, Knowles Carter, you have lost your ever loving mind. And I'm going to have so much to say to Jared when he gets out of this house. I hope that I find him one day at one of these viewing parties because we're going to have a long ass conversation. And for it to be in the middle of her blockbuster ass tour, the disrespect is unreal.
All right. Yes. Well, there you have it. Jared and Bowie, not the biggest fans of Beyonce. They prefer Taylor Swift and Rihanna, respectively.
And then you're talking about Rihanna as if Rihanna, because Rihanna writes all her music, right? Right. All those 8 albums that, well, maybe with the exception of the last one, because Anti is a master of work and she did a really good job on that one. But all the other ones, we're talking about writing music, and then you sit up. You know what? You're not doing this to me today, Taran. I'm not about to. No. Not on Beyonce's internet. Nope.
So that's how we started our day.
Yeah, that woke me the hell up.
Then we got some nominations today on the screen. So Felicia's got to get her one-on-ones in, and they're fairly straightforward for the most part. And there's a bit too much other stuff going on for us to really dive in one by one. But the important parts are that she is going to tell Cameron that she wants to nominate him as a pawn with the intention of backdooring Hisam. And Cameron fights back a bit. He says, I did just do that. And also, don't you think there are better pawns? Don't you think like Jag and Blue is a better option? Don't you think that makes more sense? It would keep Hisam more calm. And he makes some progress. He makes some progress that Felicia is feeling like that makes some sense to her. And she starts to consider, maybe I should put up Blue after all. It was her initial thought after all. And then it wasn't until Cirie came in and kind of changed her mind that things shifted. So, of course, it's going to again be Cirie that comes in and changes her mind back to
and Jared a little bit too. Yeah.
So yes, he almost gets there, but doesn't quite get all the way. Hisam is told about the plan, or the fake plan at least, which is that Cameron and Jag will go on the block with Jag as the target. And Hisam, of course, is like, why not like Matt or Blue? Why not? He's got his own idea of how it should work. But Felicia says that this is the way that she wants to do it. That Jag is her target, and that Matt will go up as the replacement if somebody comes down. So don't worry about that. And Hisam's like, all right, okay. And Hisam is placated for the most part, feels comfortable enough that he's telling people he doesn't even want to get picked for the veto. He wants to just relax.
So yeah, I'm glad. I mean, it appears that Cirie and Jared were right. Like you said, Cameron did excuse me, make a little headway with Felicia, trying to convince her maybe, I think Blue and Jag might be the better option because but Felicia had her answer prepared in that she doesn't want to raise any alarm bells at all. But it appears that was correct, because now that she's told Hisam he does make a pretty hard pitch for Matt to go up on the block. He even uses the whole argument with that Jag would take him down or Matt would take Jag down. They have the disability connection, which it's a little loose and a little far of a stretch. Hisam, I don't think that just because someone is in the Deaf Olympics and another person has experience with the Special Olympics, that automatically ties them together. It feels like Hisam does that a lot, where he will see connections that could potentially tie people together, but it's always something that's not as tight knit as I think that he would like to believe. But obviously he's going to say what he wants to try to get Matt thrown up there. But Felicia's not there for it. She sticks pretty close to her guns. I thought, because she had told people before meeting up with Hisam that she would just be straight up with Hisam and be like, I'm not putting Matt up. I like Matt. No, I'm not doing it. But then when she gets a little bit of pressure from Hisam, she's like, well, actually, I think I'd have to talk to Hisam or Matt about that again, because I don't think that I'm not sure about that one. So I thought it was interesting that she decided not to go the full route of, I'm not putting him up. He's safe. I love him. She kind of just skirted around it instead. So
yeah. So the plan back in place. Everything's working well. She's still got to talk to Jag, though. Still has to tell Jag what the plan is, and that he will be going up on the block. And so, of course, when she talked to him, he suggested some other options as well, and was like, "Yeah, but what about like Corey or
Or America.
America?"
You want the
Um,
floaters, right? Those are the floaters.
and she was like, "Ah, that wouldn't make sense to Heisem though.
Right.
It would set off alarms. It's got to be you."
Yeah, the
He was
alarm
like,
bell excuse.
And so he was like, "Okay, all right, that makes sense. I get it." And so he accepted his place on the block, but pushed this alliance that he's been trying to make with Cirie and Izzy for a little while. This time, including Felicia and Jared
Mhm.
himself, Blue and Matt. He's been
Mhm.
trying to make a big alliance. He's been trying to make this happen,
Yeah.
and he now feels like, well, I'm being put on the block, so maybe that's the thing that I can use to create this alliance.
Yeah.
And Felicia is like, sure, that sounds great.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like I talked about this the last time. I just feel like Jag is just always like just a little behind. He's always just like a little bit late. Like everyone arrives to the party, and then Jag is like, "Hey, yeah, right," and they're like, "Yeah, Jag." Like I feel like he really should have been thinking a little bit more about this when it like last week when things with Riley were like in really hot water, but he waited so long, and and rightfully so. There was a potential that Riley could have stayed, and his original group could have like probably still stayed together, but now you're at the mercy of people that voted your main ally out, and you're trying to start an alliance with them, and it's just I don't know. I mean, I do think that Jag has such a cool demeanor that him not freaking out about being put on the block was maybe disarming in a way, because I mean Heisem is the number one target, so maybe you don't have to push so hard if Heisem is the target. But with that being said, you still are the backup, so it's like I just need him to wake up a little bit more and just be a bit more proactive. But it might be a little bit too late for that.
Yeah. I mean, it's not bad for him. I think certainly at the very least for his ability to stay this week, especially if something goes wrong, pushing for this alliance, getting into something, anything is good.
Yeah.
And if he plays it right, it's possible that he could, Cirie can be a little fickle with the people that she wants to work with, as
Mm-hmm.
we've seen over the
Mm-hmm.
last week. And it's possible that if he plays his cards right, he could get in and replace, people like Corey in America or people like Mimi and Bowie. And so
Yeah.
it's really just, I mean, they're all kind of just playing musical chairs for who gets to be the person to go with Cirie. And so now Jag has finally got an actual chair in the game.
Right.
So, and that's what he's going to go around. He's going to talk to Jared with Blue about this. He's going to talk to Cirie about it. He's going to talk again with Felicia about it. There's a lot of talks about solidifying this group together. And for Cirie, it makes a lot of sense. Jared is included this time. Felicia is included. All of her core people are included. And Jag still wants the core to be himself, Blue, Cirie, and Izzy, which works out well for Cirie as well.
Mm-hmm.
So Cirie is happy to go along with this. It's Jag doing a lot of the legwork here. And Cirie and Felicia and Izzy mostly just kind of being like, yes, we agree. We
Yeah.
would love for you to think that you're working with us. And one interesting thing, though, is that Cirie still thinks that there's an alliance called the Middlemen. Now, this is something that has been kind of continuing to grow in importance because, and I said this, I feel like days ago, maybe a week ago, I was like, Corey does this thing that I think is going to get him in trouble, which is he makes jokes about like, oh, wouldn't it be I like, oh yeah, I'm like spying on you and I'm totally gonna betray you in like 3 weeks. Ha 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 ha.
Mm-hmm.
And like I was like, you gotta chill on those, dude. And now
Yeah.
this middleman joke, this joke of like, oh, haha, wouldn't it be funny if the people in the middle made an alliance called the Middlemen? And then naming all four people, including himself.
Oh God.
And lo and behold, this one has stuck, and Cirie is growing in concern about it. She's now telling other people about it. Jag now thinks there's an alliance called the Middlemen, and when he goes and talks to Corey later in the night, he's like, yeah, I really like Bowie. Do you like Bowie, Corey? And it's just like, oh boy.
Yeah.
And so it's hurting his relationships with other people. It's also, I think, part of why Cirie is very happy to jump in with Jag and Blue, because despite the fact that Corey told her about this alliance, it does mean that he has so many more options, which he doesn't even have those options. And it's, of course, hurting Mimi's game quite a bit, because Cirie is getting increasingly annoyed with her for not telling her about it. And so it's causing all kinds of mayhem.
It feels like Corey, like, he's joking about some of these moves that actually would be good moves, as if it's like him trying to acknowledge to himself that he has a good idea of the layout of the house, but doesn't want to actually do it. So he'll try to like disarm you by saying, this would be a good move, but nah, I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna do that shit. But now the idea is out there now. So it's like, the next time that you have like a stroke of, ooh, maybe I should move this chess piece here, why don't you do it, Corey? Don't, be about it. Don't just say about it, So it's interesting, because I feel like him being in that house with somebody like Cirie, he's obviously a really, really big fan. So I feel like there's like a piece of him that wants to improve himself as like, oh, I could be good at games like these too, Cirie, but I'm not gonna be. Like, it's very, very strange.
Yeah, it's quite the thing here. I'm curious to see if this continues to go, if like, because the thing is that Corey hasn't really talked with the Crossroads in a little while now. And so like, while all this is happening, he's kind of been a little complacent about those relationships, in my opinion. Which it's something that you do occasionally see, especially with somebody like Corey, who he was really working his way up from the bottom and was having to work really, really hard. Now that he's in a better spot, he might feel like, okay, I can take my foot off the gas a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Shouldn't.
Yeah.
So we do get to the nomination ceremony. And of course, we are going to have to change the graphic here, because we do get two new nominees. Cameron and Jag are, in fact, nominated for eviction.
Mm-hmm.
And the plan is still in place to backdoor Heisem. Jag feels very good about this. He's going to go upstairs and hang out with Blue and kind of be like, oh man, is it weird that I'm like really happy that I'm on the block because we just made this alliance? And he's just like, they're just so happy. They're just like, yes, this is so good. Like, I went in there, got told I was gonna go on the block, and came out with a 7-person alliance. Like, whoa, this is so good. And they're very pumped.
Yeah. So it's a very different reaction to being put on the block. But I mean, I kind of expected as much. I mean, when we saw how the both of them sort of like, Jag more so than Cameron just let it happen, I didn't really expect to see much fallout from this. So I mean, hey, kudos to anybody that can put somebody else up on the block and then have them feeling good about being put up on the block, because you're going to be good. You now have an alliance. Now that you're up on the block with us, you're in this alliance. So, all right.
Yeah, so Jag's like, yeah, no, I just need to act sad and stuff now. And boy, does he. There's a very awkward interaction between him and Heisem in just a little bit, where he's up in the loft and he's kind of just like, chilling on the little couch thing. And Heisem's like, so how are you doing, Jag? Jag's like, it's fine. And it's just like massive, long, awkward silence. It's so uncomfortable.
I mean, I feel like could not have been that hard for Jack to just be like, "Look, bro, like, I think I might be out of here. I have your vote, right?" Like, make Heisem feel like you are in danger. Like, what is this? Like, hey, like it was just very like, come on, acting. That's what this game is about.
Yeah. He's gonna check back in with Felicia as well, Jag. They're gonna talk some more about this alliance. He talks about the name the Debt Collectors. Is well, he was saying the Debt Collectors, and Felicia was like, "Ooh, that would be a good name." And so there's discussion about that. Again, more momentum in this direction. I think that it's possible that this actually gains steam. Fake alliances often become real ones, especially if, let's say, Jag, Blue, or Matt were to win an HOH next week.
Right.
That could really solidify something here that would be important later. But for right now, this is a fairly fake alliance. I believe from Cirie and Izzy's part. I think that Izzy would much prefer to work with Corey and just like what their original structure was. I don't think they would love to go to to bring these three people that are super tight along. However, the Blue and Jared stuff is heating up, and so that connection could also help bring this forward. And then there's also a little bit of Weird America stuff later, so that could also influence what's going on here. So, there's a whole saga that we need to talk about. It's not super important, but it is. You'd think it would be, considering what's going on with it. So, obviously, we're dealing with the Professor's Alliance, right? The alliance, which is Cirie, Izzy, Bowie, Heisem, Izzy, Felicia. I might have repeated some names, but Red is also in the alliance. And obviously, they're about to take a shot at one of their own. And they have not told Red about the Heisem backdoor, nor did they really even bother to tell him that Cameron was going up again.
Yeah.
They kind of forgot about that, kind of like Danny forgot about the Iron Fleet. And so Red is like, what is happening?
Yeah. Yeah.
Cameron's is he a pawn? What's the plan exactly? And he's gonna talk to Bowie about it, who is going to tell him that the plan is to backdoor Heisem because Bowie knows the plan. She's like, "Oh, you didn't know? The Bowie is the Heisem is the backdoor target." And so Red's gonna go to Izzy and be like, "Hey, Izzy, I'm kind of feeling a little left out of the professors right now. It's kind of feeling like I wasn't really told what was happening with the nominations. Is there like a plan in place or anything like that?" And Izzy's like, "No, what are you talking about? I like barely knew either. Like I totally last minute." And he's like, "Oh, that's interesting. Okay." And he's gonna go to Cameron. Cameron's gonna tell him all about everything. Cameron Cameron was the one that told Red first. And Bowie confirmed it. But Cameron is going to tell Red, I'm the pawn. Heisem is the target. I wasn't telling you yet because I didn't know how much you wanted to know. I was trying to protect you, Red. And so Red now knows that there's something he doesn't know, and he's gonna go and start asking people about it. And then Bowie's gonna go. Izzy's going to go to Cirie and be like, "Hey, Red's asking about these things." And they talk to Felicia and they're like, "What should we tell him?" And they're like, "We should keep lying to him. He doesn't know." No way Cameron would tell him. That would be dumb of Cameron. And so Red goes to Felicia and he's asking her like, "Hey, so what's going on?" And Felicia's like, "Nothing, just it's fine. It's targeting probably like Matt or something. If the veto's used." And he's like, "Oh, really, Matt? There's not like a bigger target or anything?" And she's like, "Wow, what do you mean?" Like, I don't know. Is there like somebody that's winning a lot of comps that we might want to take a shot at, maybe in our own alliance? It's like, well, maybe we could take a shot at Heisem. I don't know. Would you be okay with a shot at Heisem? He's like, yeah, of course. I mean, he seems a little early and he's in our alliance, but like, yeah. I mean, listen, he's like Professor X. He's got such a target on his back, all these comp wins. And Felicia's like, oh, that's such a funny joke, Professor X. That's so good. Oh man,
All
yeah.
right.
I guess Heisem is the target then. Maybe we should do that. And so Red is you'd think after all of that, right? That Red now is like, wow, I am on the outs. I am fully in the dark about everything. They're lying to me. They're targeting people within our own alliance. This alliance
in the red.
is dead. This is over. I'm screwed. No. He's going to go to Cameron and be like, she told me. She told me about it. So, okay, I'm back in. We're all good. Everything's fine. And also, I made this joke. I said Heisem he should be called Professor X because there's such a big target on him, and she loved the joke. It was so good. She was cracking up. And Cameron is like, I'm so glad. I'm so glad that you have finally come back up to speed to where I am. Because it's hard for me knowing so much and being so good at this game. It's good that we're back on the same page. Cameron, I tweeted this out. Cameron is the guy who, no matter what happens, is like, yes, all a part of my plan. Because he feels like he has set up this backdoor for Heisem. He is the one that planted the seeds. He is the one that put the pieces in place, and now he is just a part of the plan making it happen. It's not really Felicia's plan. It's really his plan. And Red has to explain why the Professor X joke is so good. And he says, oh, so you've told me some things now, Cameron. Let me tell you, the Alliance is called the Professors. It's these 7 people. You already kind of knew about it, but it's called the Professors. That's why I said he's called Professor X. Cameron is like, oh, what? It's these 7 people and they have this whole alliance and I am not in this alliance. And Red's like, yeah, but like you're next in line to join. And Cameron's like, yeah, that's again all a part of my plan. Yeah, this makes a lot of sense. I'm like the substitute teacher. I'll come in. I love that idea. I'm part of the professors. This is great. And Red's like, yeah, no, totally. You're gonna be included. It's gonna be so good. And they are very excited about their current circumstances.
Part of the professors, Cameron? Really? Maybe a TA or something, or a PA, but a professor? No. This whole thing, so many people yesterday were like walking around on pins and needles on Twitter being like, oh my God, like Red's gonna freak out. He's gonna get upset because he's being left out of this. Oh my God, Heisem's gonna fight. He's gonna tell Heisem it's gonna blow up. It's gonna blow up. It's gonna blow up. No, no.
Yeah, and this is where I feel like Cirie is like, she had the perfect setup. Her Professors Alliance minus maybe Heisem is a very good amount of people, good group of people to bring to the end. They are her traitors crew.
Yeah, it's really it's happening in real time. I guess like there's just like this like need from Red to just feel like he's part of something that will completely override everything else. Like any of the suspicions, any of the doubt that he had going into this conversation with Felicia, just completely gone. He just needed to hear it, and now that he's heard it, he's good. Like it's like the same kind of behavior that he was going on and on with like Cirie last week about like how when he found, it's just he is just so, I don't know the word for it because I don't want to say dumb, but
It's not great. It's not great from these two, especially because Bowie is then going to go back to Cirie and let her know that Red already knew about the Heisem plan. And so Cirie now knows that Red went to Felicia pretending he didn't know. And Cirie's not having it. She is unfortunately attributing a lot more malice and forethought into what Red was doing. And I would say overestimates his game ability and thinks that he's doing something sneaky and is part of an alliance called the Middlemen. And so she is now very concerned about Red and Cameron and Bowie, who's also a part of the Middlemen and was in. She thinks is one of the people that leaked this information because she's in the Middlemen and trying to work all angles.
They all gotta go. It's like, I mean, Cirie, she just has such a mind for the game, right? That when she sees a good move, she assumes that everyone else also has to see the good move. And I'm going to do that good move before you can do that good move. So even if that means chopping off the heads of all of the people that I have built up around me, I'm like, Red can go next. Then we can get rid of Bowie. Then we can get Cameron's ass out of here.
Cirie is like, she's so much better than anyone else in the game at like doing the game that she can literally just be like, it's like she's got a sword and she's just chopping away at all the people in the game. And then, but she gets to be like, I'm chopping away at you. Wait, no, now I want to chop at you.
Yeah.
No, now you've done the wrong thing. I'm chopping at you. And she can just turn around and start chopping at anyone she wants because she's so good that nobody even cares or stops her. They're just like, oh no,
she's lapping herself. Like
she's not chopping me. I'm good. She's not gonna chop. She's chopping all of them. Ha ha. And then when she starts chopping them, they're like, Cirie, this is a mistake. What are you doing? Oh, good. She stopped. She changed her mind.
Yeah. It's like everyone step back. Yeah, it's yeah. I mean, I think there's something to be said every time there's a really, really good player in the house that is just able to run circles around people. Like, are they the type to know that they're running circles around people and can kind of like sit back and like just do their thing? Or are they going to continuously like have things churning? I gotta get you before you get me. Gotta get this. Gotta do this. Gotta do this. Gotta do this. And she's, I think, when she sees all of this back outside of the house, she's gonna be like, "Oh wow, like these people aren't that great." But
it's really interesting to me, and this is again why I'm so fascinated by getting to see Cirie on Big Brother versus Survivor. I feel like I'm learning more about Cirie as a player, and obviously part of it is the disconnect between the pacing of Survivor and Big Brother and how the strategy works on Survivor versus Big Brother. But we talked a lot about before the season started, like Cirie's got some serious like strategic accolades, the 3-2-1 plan, and various things that she sort of pioneered. And I think that now that I'm seeing her on Big Brother, and some of the things she's even said, she says, I don't really work well with the strategy side of it as much. I rely on my allies to help guide me in that direction. And I think she's telling the truth when she says that. I think that what we're learning, from my perspective at least, is that Cirie is genuinely just like God tier social player, and is able to draw people to her, make them trust her, act the way she needs to act with them, but still in a way where she's able to be both disarming and intimidating and get them to do what she wants, and then wants to cut anyone who doesn't conform to that so that she can maintain that power. And then I think the other angle of this, the reason why she still has pioneered these strategic like things, she's an incredibly creative player with a lot of confidence. She has a very clear idea of how she can play the game to suit her strengths, and she focuses heavily on maintaining that strength, which is take out anybody that is not doing my bidding, essentially. And how can I get anybody how can I get the people who are not doing my bidding out in whatever way possible? And I'm just going to bulldoze through and find a way to get them gone. And she will very creatively think of ways to make that happen. So that's just an aside for me, but just very interesting to learn more about Cirie. Very clearly, she is, despite flaws, an incredibly talented player, still potentially one of the best we've ever seen, especially considering the fact that with all this Jag and Blue stuff wanting to make an alliance with her again, she is now far and away in the best position in the house. I mean, it's absurd how good a position she is in. She is so well insulated from literally every angle. She doesn't have one onion alliance. She has 4. And she's at the core of every single one of them.
Yeah.
Um, and and is protected from going on the block with Jared because she's like cookouted herself with Izzy, where Izzy will go if she's sitting next to her. It's quite good. And it's very interesting to see how it works, because it's not how you would normally see a player work in this game.
It's kind of like she has this thing that Paul had in BB19 without all of the crazy antics. Like, Paul was able to insulate himself so well in that house, but it took so much just like nasty behavior and just really, really power hungry tactics. Whereas Cirie is kind of just able to just walk from room to room and still create that situation for herself. It's very interesting, and it's not to say that there still aren't things that she'll have to take care of, little fires she has to point out. I mean, we saw Izzy on the feast yesterday contemplating to herself, like, wait, am I getting Cirie? Like, am I like? But the fact that even Izzy is asking herself that and still being like, yeah, like, I think I'll be okay. Like, no, you ask yourself that question. If you have to ask yourself that means that yes, it's happening to you. But it's just, and the same thing with Miss Felicia, because Miss Felicia, she is one smart cookie. She's the oldest one in the house. I'm always so interested to see the dynamic between Felicia and Cirie, because at some point I'm like, now, Miss Felicia, if you really want to win this game, do you see how good a player that she is? Like, do you see what's happening? Or are you also like in the same thing with Izzy, where you're just so tied that it's just like when Cirie like claimed Miss Felicia in front of Jared, it's like, this my people. It was like she put Felicia under a spell, and that was it. Like, and then her coming into the HOH room to like brief her on what Heisen was going to pitch to her and everything, but then always think, but it's your HOH, girl. Like, but don't let them run your HOH. Let me run your HOH. It's just like, oh man, I don't know what else to say other than she just has the stuff. She just knows how to talk to these people and knows how to talk to each and every single one of them in a way that they will feel comfortable. Yeah, and that's not easy.
Yeah. So yeah, you're right. Izzy has this like crisis a little bit to herself, where she's like, what am I doing? Am I really going to the final 3 with a mother and son? Like, is that really what I'm gonna do? And for a moment, it's like, well, oh, Izzy, does Izzy care about winning? Hold on. And then she goes and talks to Cirie about it, and I was like, oh, Izzy.
It's just so, because if there is one person that can unravel Cirie's game, it is undoubtedly Izzy. But
yeah, Cirie does a great job of, like, seemingly at least calming her down and being like, listen, I know I'm not winning that final 3 HOH, and I hope you understand that we would never hold it against you if you had to pick between the 2 of us to bring to the end, when you win that final 3. And, like, just really, again, like, I look at you like family, like, it's just envelops her.
Come on, baby. Come on home to mama. Come on, baby. Come
on. Now, potentially the one and only person who understands the threat of Cirie and would like to do something to counteract it at some point is, of course, Corey. And he is going to talk to the cameras a bit about it. He talks about his like long-term plan, essentially, saying that he needs free agents that are his people to make some moves in a couple of weeks because things need to start moving in a certain direction. He has a final two with Jared, but he's not going to the final two with Jared. He knows that Jared is really tight with Cirie and Izzy. He doesn't want to go to the end with Cirie and Izzy, but he feels like when he's brought that up to Jared, Jared has pushed it back, and then luckily Jared feels like he's convinced Corey to go back into the idea of taking it to the end. But what it's told Corey is that Jared is actually way too close to Cirie and Izzy, way too into the idea of going to the end with them. So because of that, he needs to be careful, and he needs to make sure he has all these other connections like America. And he connects with Mimi, but she connects to a lot of people. And it just feels like, he had a final two with Mimi on day like 2 or 3, but it's fizzled out. He doesn't really understand why. He needs to try to work harder on her because she's incredibly important. But it's
And
just
I don't
not
think
landing.
it's his fault. Do you? I think it's Mecole.
Oh yeah. Considering that like America has also tried with Mimi, and Mimi I think just has a very strict idea of how she wants her game to play out, and it does not involve anybody other than her core alliance.
Yeah, it's giving Mecole, I love you, girl. Your rants are hilarious, but and y'all know I love her. It's giving a little bit of Davon at the beginning of BB18. It's giving very much, I just want to play by myself. I just want to do this way. And I'm like, you got to be flexible. And I know that she can be, because I see her talking, I see her interacting with these people, but it's like her social battery is just, she's over it. Like, I mean, you can't be over it this early. You got to get yourself back out there. And I think, didn't Izzy also say something to Cirie about trying to talk to Izzy or to Mecole about, I think I had it in my notes somewhere. I forget what it was that Izzy said, but she was relaying to Cirie about the conversation that she had with Mecole about the plan, and she was like questioning Mecole about like how she felt about it. And Izzy told Cirie, oh yeah, I kept asking her, but she just wasn't really giving me the time of day. And it's like, damn, Mecole, like you need to excuse me, this is your alliance. Like you can't have them feeling shaky, because as we just stated, the minute that Cirie starts feeling some kind of way about you, so yeah, it's very interesting, because I feel like she has all the stuff, but she just won't do it.
Yeah, and let's just like quickly get into Mimi here, because she does play a role here into the night. She has a conversation with Felissa and Cirie where they talk more about the plan, and they even talk a bit about like who they feel like a little bit better about, who they're looking to target. They bring up Blue, and there's this awkward moment where Mimi's like, like, what was that, Mimi, about Blue? She's like, nothing. Like, why are you making a face? She's like, no, I'm just wondering how we feel about Blue. That's it. But they're like, how do you feel about Blue? And she's like, nah, I don't feel any kind of way about Blue. I'm just wondering what you think. And like they're making faces like, what is she doing here?
Yeah.
Like, why are you playing us in this mode? Just be open with us about
this is
what
the
this
time.
is.
This is the space to do it. This is the time to do it. Like,
and so that happens. Mimi's going to tell this story about how Jag and America and Matt were talking, and something about like America had seen Cirie and Izzy go into the scary room, and she was like, "That's interesting." And all of this stuff about like America, and Izzy is like kind of like, "Whoa, why is America doing that? I thought America was chill with us. Why is she making comments about me and Cirie and our movements? Why is she watching us?" So Izzy's kind of feeling not great about America.
I hate America.
Right. And it brings me back to this thing that which is like, Mimi is she has so much potential, I think, in this. She's so smart. She's so socially good when she actually is being social.
When she's there, yeah.
And when she's open with people, it works. But she's so conservative in her gameplay that she is not talking enough with Cirie and Izzy to make them feel good about her. They now think that she's in a, like, because here's the deal. yeah, it sucks for Mimi that she randomly got misinterpreted into a joke alliance, and that's part of why Cirie isn't trusting her. But
Right.
if she had been talking with Cirie more and had a better relationship with Cirie, there's no chance Cirie would have believed that she was in it, let alone misinterpreted that she was in it in the first place. So like it's kind of on her that the relationship is that shaky to begin with. And so she rarely talks game with them. And when she does, the only time she really does seem to talk game with them is when she has like information to bring them. And the only time she has information to bring them is when the only other people in the game that are willing to play with her give her information. So all of the information, all of the game talk she ends up having, most of the game talk she ends up having is her ratting out people like Corey in America, the people that want to play with her actively and give her more options. And so it's just like she's just kind of shooting herself in the foot occasionally, and it's frustrating because
Yeah.
one, she's on my draft team, and two, she's I feel like she should be in a better position than this, but it's not happening.
Yeah. I wonder if it's like one of those things where she can like see the dynamic of the group that she's in and sort of like understand that she's not the centerpiece of it, and maybe she's not. I don't know. I don't know. It's interesting listening to her talk because I'm like, do you want to have Cirie's positioning? Because if that's the case, some of your actions are just not. It's the math isn't mathing, girl. Like you know when to speak and when not to, and I just feel like she just yeah. There's so much potential there. You can see that she has a good mind for it, but just not willing to go all the way there yet. And maybe it's like a slow rider game. Maybe she's just trying to wait out a little bit more and then she's gonna start picking it up. But like I said before, in the same instance with Jag, like with a game with Cirie Fields in it, you can't because she's playing Survivor. She's playing 3-day cycles in a week, and y'all are, hey, nice to meet you. Like it's just it's not good. It's not a good look.
Yeah, and so it's like when she's like talking about America here and getting Izzy to not trust America as much, it's like you're shooting yourself in the foot because like you're trying to get them to trust the two people, America, one of the few people in this game that like wants to make something work with you. That even if you are like locked in with this alliance, you really trust this alliance, you want to work with them, you want to protect them, great. You have a connection to America. Talk to America. Ask her how she feels about Cirie and Izzy. If you are worried that she doesn't feel good about them, use the connection that you have to make her feel good about them so that you can pull her in and have more people that you have for
Right.
yourself that are options for you that you can influence to help your alliance and yourself in the game. Instead of just like immediately running back and getting, the only people talking to you in trouble.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway,
She just feels she's too standoffish for right now. The short of it is she's gotta you really have to be a little bit more flexible at this point, or it's she's gonna snap. She's gonna
hmm.
snap. I'm waiting for her to just start ranting out loud because I'm waiting for somebody to say the wrong thing to her and her to just be like, "All right, here's what we're not gonna do."
Yeah. So anyway, Corey's long-term plan, he has a very good read on a lot of the players in the house. He's really hoping that somebody will take a shot at Cirie and Izzy at some point and that Izzy will leave to weaken Cirie. But of course, the big issue in all of his plans and everything that he's trying to put together is Jared. He doesn't fully trust Jared. He knows that Jared is too close to Cirie and Izzy, but he does not know how close. He could not know how close. And so that is a big issue for him. He would love to put something together like, himself, Jared, America and Matt or something like that. But again, the inclusion of Jared is not really going to work. And
Yeah,
anything he
Jared is just
actually
the bad seed every single time. It's
second he
just
tries to actually make a move, Jared is going to rat him out, and he's going to get cut
mhm.
off before he can make it. And if he doesn't make a move, then he's got no runway to play with. So
See, and this is like, I don't think this is like an unpopular opinion by any means, but like it does when we see stuff like this happening, it is to me, I'm like, that really sucks. That's really unfair. Because like it's like through no faults of your own. You're sitting here thinking that you have a good reading on this person, and for the most part, yeah, Jared and Corey they do like each other, but that's his mama, and there's just no way that you're gonna be able to top that. So it's just like when I see stuff like that happening, I'm like, oh damn, like, I would be like, I'd be so sad if I were Corey and I came out of the house and I was like, well, no wonder I couldn't do anything. Like, what the like, I would be so pissed. So yeah, I'm not. I do hope a piece of me don't come for me. Everybody, I love Cirie. I'm not saying I love Cirie, but I'm saying like if Corey decides to get her ass out of here, good for him. Do it. I want to see it happen. I want to see you try. Okay.
All right. Let's save the Jared stuff for now. Or should we? Or is that going to be a bummer to end on that?
I mean,
let's talk about Jared. So first of all, he has a conversation with Cirie earlier in the day where she's asking him about Blue, and he's like, "You don't need to worry about Blue. Like, I've got this thing at home. I'm shouting her out all the time." And she's like, "Okay, yes, good." And that was like, whoa, that was weird. He's later going to talk to Blue about it. Apparently, he's been in like a 7-year relationship that ended extremely recently, according to him. And so I don't know what's going on there, but he's telling Cirie and Blue very different things, it seems. So we'll see how that goes. There's going to be a bit of a discussion. So early in the morning, Blue was talking to Izzy about Jared and their relationship. And she was like, yeah, he's great. He does sometimes say some things that are like red flags, though. And the people watching are like, you don't say.
you don't say.
Before she can explain to Izzy what they were, they get interrupted. So later in the night, there was this big discussion on dating, and all of this stuff was happening. People loved when Corey and America were asked about each other, and they said the 3 things they liked about each other, and they were joking around. It was very fun, and people are shipping Corey and America, even though I don't think it's gonna happen. I'm sorry, but hey, you never know. So then Izzy and Jared and Blue get to talking about Blue kind of brings up Jared's idea about like body counts, essentially. And Jared starts expressing this opinion that like, yeah, like if a female were to have me on the first date, like that's not really somebody that I'm interested in dating. Like it's like, nah, I'm straight. It's all good. And Izzy was like, I'm sorry, what? Jared, I love you. What exactly are you saying? And so they start having this conversation, and it really feels like Izzy is like trying to give Jared a little bit of like an intervention. She's like Jared, do you understand what you're saying there, right? Like, you would say that you would sleep with a girl on a first date, but then wouldn't consider her to be worthy of dating, even though you slept with her on the first date also. And he's like, yeah, because that's my preference. She can have her preference if she doesn't want to date me. And yeah, like this, listen to me, okay? I need everyone in the audience to listen to this, because if they were not there, if they were not watching, you do not understand. This conversation lasted like 5 hours. From Jared, Izzy, Blue to Jared, Izzy, Jag, Blue to Jared, Izzy, Blue again to Jared, Blue talking about it alone for another like 4 hours. Like it was incredibly long, and Jared just never dropped it. And so when I tell you that like this was the starting point, this was also the ending point. After hours and hours and hours of people telling him that this was not a great thing to be talking about. And so like Jag comes over and Jared's trying to get Jag to agree with him. He's like, hey, if you if you were about to sleep with a girl and she was like, oh, I'm sleeping with a bunch of other dudes, would you still sleep with her? And Jag was like, no, I guess. And he was like, yeah, see, boom, fist bump, let's go, us guys. And Jag was like, I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. That's just my own thing. Like that's just how I would. And Izzy then tries to explain to Jag, like, no, what he's saying is that he wouldn't like date somebody who slept with him on the first date. And Jag's like, oh, that's kind of why, Jared. And so then Jag's trying to explain to Jared why, and it's literally the three of them surrounding Jared, trying to like explain to him that this is kind of like weird. And Jared like, no, you guys don't get it. It's just a preference of mine.
I hate that word. 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 This, I know so many men that are like this. I know so many of them, and it is so, I can't say that it is 2023 enough times. I can't say it enough times. This is so backwards and so infantile and so asinine that I literally, I cannot believe that this is, I can believe it because like I said, I know a lot of people that are like this. And it's just the fact that he kept perseverating on it. Like he would not let it go. And he swears that he's right about it. And it's just, I don't understand the logic. It just, I don't have to rant about this. Yeah, everybody in the chat, and I'm sure, I'm hoping most people in the chat would agree with Taran and I and everybody else in the house about this topic. But it's just, oh my God, the more and more that he talks, the worse and worse it gets. I just, Cirie, please.
This is the thing, okay? I'm just gonna say this. This is a blanket statement. If you obsess about body count, about a woman's sexual life, I don't care what kind of word salad you think you're dressing this up as. It's just insecurity masquerading as preference. That's all it is. Everyone knows it except for the other incel dudes who don't. And that's why when you say it and you think that you have all these great reasons for why it works and why it makes sense and scientifically, like whatever the case may be, everyone just sees you being really insecure at best.
And to openly say this stuff in front of the person that you're allegedly trying to scoop up. Oh, and the fact that Blue is able to entertain it for as long as she does, I'm like, oh my God. I just, man, I don't really know what Jared's upbringing was 100% like. I'm assuming that it was, for the most part, fine. I mean, because Cirie seems like she's a great mom. But somewhere along the way, I'm not really sure where he picked this up. Well, I mean, I think I do know where he picked it up. The same place that a lot of people have picked it up.
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, this is just extremely prevalent for men in society. I mean, you know, the fact that Andrew Tate is even a thing is kind of an example of that.
On national television, on live feeds, you're out here spouting this, and it's because a lot of the people in your life have affirmed this for you as well. The dudes that you were hanging out with, the men that you look up to, they must all have like projected this messaging onto you, and now here you are thinking that you have the world backing you up, when really It is 2023, my guy. Please. I alienated yourself from so many dating opportunities on the outside world now because they now have a record of you having a 5-hour argument about how women who sleep with multiple people are floozies and are not worthy of dating.
And I mean, he says to Blue later, he says that he's never really had female friends. It's too hard. And I think most people could have guessed. He talks about how he dated a girl in high school who was friends with a guy, and then after they broke up, she dated him, which was proof to him that, like, you know, you got to be careful of those friendships with guys. And that this was the thing too. He says she was a very smart, intelligent girl, not one you'd expect to get around. But he doesn't want to say too much because he doesn't want her to feel herself too much if she hears him say this.
Not one he expected to get around. So you are purposefully trying to date down so that the girl that you're dating feels like you're the catch.
Just the implication that being smart and intelligent is not compatible with getting around, right? Like, is not something that...
Is it 1965? What are we doing? What are we doing? Oh my God. And not to get too political, but this is exactly why mentalities like this is exactly why we are having so many problems with what's going on with the government and what they can and cannot do with women and their bodies. I'm just like, this is crazy. I felt like I had to shut my laptop. I'm sorry. I just couldn't take it anymore. I shut my laptop and I played Fall Guys for 3.5 hours because I just needed something else in my life.
I really wanted to start Baldur's Gate 3 yesterday. It didn't work out for me.
Oh, you should have, Taran. You should have. No one would have blamed you.
I was literally on the character creation screen when this started happening.
Oh my God. This is the worst draft team that I have ever had. The absolute worst. And you know what, Puya? If you're watching, that's fine. You can talk your shit. I will let you have it. I will let you have it. Okay? Because this is empirically the worst draft that I think anybody on RHAP has ever had. You have an idiot saying the N-word. You have a girl who can't even fight for herself is gone after winning HOH. And now you have the son of a legend. The son of a legend out here embarrassing himself on national television.
Oh man, and when he was talking to Izzy, and Izzy comes up with a scenario, she's like, okay, how about this for a scenario? Because he started talking about a girl in the bathroom of a club and how he wouldn't want to date that girl. And she's like, okay, let's say you sleep with a woman in the bathroom of a club.
No.
And then you just happen to run into her the next day or a couple days later at a friend's house. And now all of a sudden she's a human to you because now she's talking, she's hanging out, and you like her. Would you then not want to date her because she was the kind of girl that, slept with you in the bathroom? And he was very upset with this question. He's like, that question doesn't even make any sense. That doesn't even make any sense. And Izzy said, you don't need to get excited. I'm just putting out a scenario. And Blue is trying to be like, yeah, she's just trying to like ask a question to me. And he's like, you're trying to trap me. You're trying to get me to say yes. You're trying to put me in a corner. Nobody puts me in a corner. You're not going to get this. You're not going to make this happen. I am 25 years old. I have already thought through all of these scenarios. You're not going to catch me with something I haven't thought of. And she's like, I mean, I think I did most of my growing from like 29 to 31. And he's like, yeah, that's fine. That's fine. I'm just saying. And it was just like, what? Like, dude.
Oh my god, I'm so triggered. And I don't really use that word, but I am here. Like, it's just.
And don't worry, he after Izzy left, he brought it back to the body count question to Blue, who continued to tell him she wouldn't tell him, and he continued to say, I don't know, I just don't know why you wouldn't tell. I mean, from my perspective, the only reason why you wouldn't tell me is if it's like really high, or there's something that you're trying to hide. And she's like, or none of those things.
It's none of your damn business.
And he's like, I just don't get why you wouldn't tell me other than those reasons. It's like, yeah, I'm telling you that I judge people for having high body counts and I wouldn't want to be with them. And I think that they're not worthy of me dating them. So why won't you tell me yours? I don't understand. Why would you feel judged? Oof. All right. Okay. We got to move on. And you know what? Also, like, I love Cirie. And I'm sorry, Cirie. Because, we're dunking on your son here a bit. I hope you understand that it's for a good reason. I don't blame you. I don't think other people should. This is society. But here we are.
My soul hurts. That's all I can say. My soul hurts. It really does. And then the stuff that people were, you know what? I'm not even going to bring that up. I'm not even going to bring that up because I don't want to. You know what? I'm not going to bring that up.
Yeah, I mean, listen. If you want everything, like I said, it was extremely long. I couldn't possibly give everything. I gave some of the things, not even necessarily all the worst ones. Just watch it yourself, and you'll see. And also, like, if you're one of these people that's like, this is a perfectly reasonable perspective.
Yeah, I had somebody in my mentions saying that.
First of all, make sure you watch the 5 hours like I did, so that you understand the full context of what we're talking about, especially as you're probably a context person. And then tell me that he's being perfectly reasonable before you do anything else.
The minute that Blue said simply, it really is none of your business, I'm not judging people off of that. That should have been the end of it. And even still, when she said that, people were like, oh, well, that's fine for him to feel that way. I don't understand. I'm like, she shut it down. That's the issue. And he's still going. Like, when no means no. No means no. No. And no. No. That should be the end of it. I don't know why we're doing. I don't even know why I engaged in some of those conversations. That was dumb on my part, but I just I don't know how he's going to respond to a lot of the things that people are going to end up having to say to him after he gets out. But I do hope that somewhere along the lines he can receive the message for what it is and see how asinine his logic is and just smell the insecurity on his breath.
I've known people that have had extremely dumb ideas about these things, especially when they were younger, who have grown out of them and become better people. I hope that's a path that Jared has in front of him, especially.
25 is kind of crazy, but I mean, everybody has. You're right. Different strokes, different folks, different paces, different spaces. Like I get it. I just wish you would have had that lesson before he signed his ass up for Big Brother 25.
Yeah. Well, okay. So, there's an interesting conversation between Corey, America, and Jag that was kind of funny. They're talking about Heisem. There's a lot of talk about Heisem throughout the day, but there's a really funny one where Corey is talking about Heisem, and he's like, yeah, he's telling everyone that he wants to work with them. For me, it was the brains and the brawn. And America's like, for me, it was I want to work with somebody with an endurance competition. And Jag was like, how did he not think this would get back to people? And then Corey and America say at the same time, he swore me to safety. They say it in unison. And then Corey was like, and I haven't told a soul.
I like the three of them. They're like little teen Avengers team or something like that.
So Corey and America talk a bit after that conversation, and Corey warns America, hey, going against Jared in this house right now is not a good idea. He has too much influence. He's in too good a spot. But don't worry, I think he's looking out for us right now, so it's fine. Corey says, I've been trying to buddy up with Cameron and Red because I think they've got, I think we've already got Jag and Jared. So he says, I think Mimi is up for grabs. We should really keep trying to work on her. He says he thinks Jared gets along well with Matt. And he says, look, listen, at the end of the day, we will never be closer to Cirie, Izzy, Felicia, and Jared as they are with each other. We need to be aware of that. She agrees. She says she barely gets a chance to talk to them. He doesn't love the fact that people would probably put the two of them up together if they were to put them up. And America says, yeah, we got to stop the showman's thing. Hate to break it to you. And he's like, we didn't even do anything to make that happen. People are just bored. And so he says, again, I want to like try and associate myself with other people, which is why he's butting up with Cam and Red, which is
that's a tough sale right there.
So he tells her to get closer to Jared. If she could get in closer with him, that would be good. Something like himself, Jared, Matt, and her in the end game could be useful. So those are kind of like some of the ideas that they're playing around with.
Yeah. Corey is, like I said before, he's starting to, he's starting to like really, put these pieces together. He knows his positioning very, very well, sees relationships for what they are. And I think him and America could really make something happen if they play their cards right and they don't raise suspicions too quickly. Because there already are a couple of suspicions that are raised with him. So I think as long as he continues this, like, hey, those three, we gotta be careful. I think that I'll be interested to see where this goes.
Yes. All right. Two more major things to talk about. One is breaking news. The feeds just came back from the veto draw.
Hey,
bit of a spoiler for tomorrow's update, day 18. But Hisam was not chosen to play in the veto. Hisam cannot win the veto. The backdoor plan is now foolproof as long as they decide they want to go through with it.
Ooh. Now all we need to see is if this plan of him being the target gets leaked to him.
At this point, it doesn't matter. There's nothing you can do.
It doesn't matter, but oh, this is perfect, baby. I'm here for it.
He's going to end, if he's evicted this week, he ends his season with a 75% comp record, 3 out of 4 comps won.
Well, then he should be trying to leave. Get on out of here.
Final thing, potential intrigue here. Apart from all of the other stuff that was happening between Jared and Blue, he also started to play with some fire, I think. He told Blue that he has a secret in the house. And she was like, what do you mean? Does the audience know about this secret? He's like, yeah, they're aware. He alludes to the idea that like this is not necessarily the first show he's been on. He talks about his growing up, his parents, and how his mom was in Connecticut. And he goes, well, probably shouldn't give you too many details. You're going to put things together because you're smart. And like various hints that if Blue is really trying, she could maybe figure something out. If she tells somebody else that he has a secret, they might start thinking about it. And maybe they could put the pieces together. Either way, it's worth discussing. It doesn't seem seem likely to me that it will go anywhere. But the fact that he's even hinting toward it at all right now means that he might continue to in the future. And if he continues to in the future, that might end up exposing something. Given what he exposed last night, I don't think it's quite enough to get to Cirie as his mom. But in the right hands, it could. Like if Corey knew this information, he might be able to figure it out. But it's unlikely that this information will pass unscathed all the way to Corey. And so, like I said, I don't think this is enough to expose things, but if he continues to drop more hints and continues to be leaky to Blue, and Blue passes the information on or starts to think about things, this could be the start of an exposition of their secret. Worth
This
pointing out.
is so silly. I don't understand. Like, what are you doing? It's like he knew that conversation that they were having prior about his trash ass opinions wasn't great. So now he's like trying to do this thing where it's like, oh, by the way, I've got something really cool to tell you. Like, I was on another show, Connecticut.
What if he's like,
Like,
listen, if you tell me your body count, I'll kill you.
this is the second time that I have to walk off camera on this damn podcast. I'm done. I'm finished with you.
Oh boy.
I don't get it. Like, is he bored? Like, it's too early. I can see you doing this kind of stuff. Like, if this was like the final five and the two of you were still there or something, you know what I mean? Then you could be like, start toying around when you know that for a fact that one of you is probably going to get it to the end. But now, when there's still like 14 people left in the house, what are you doing? And it really could go back. You're right. It could, like, this could go to Corey, or heaven forbid, America starts musing with it about somebody like Izzy. And then Izzy goes to Cirie and is like, Jared is kind of hinting to the fact that you're his mom. And then Cirie then has to give her own son a spanking on national television. Like,
I think there's a decent chance Blue tells, but the problem is the conversation was so long. This is what happens. If a conversation is long enough, we will obviously pick up on the details because we are like picking apart everything, and we can go back and we can watch it again. We can look at the transcript. We can see all these things. When you are in a conversation that is 6 hours long, you forget like 90% of it. And this is something that like she should remember. It's kind of a big thing, but like there was a lot in that conversation. And so it's possible that it just kind of gets glossed over. That happens all the time. But if it's something that sticks in her brain, there's a good chance she'll tell Jag about it. Like Jared said, he has a secret. If she thinks it's even important enough to bring up. And if she tells Jag, he might be like, oh, what's the secret? And then Jag might start discussing other things. Like, do you think Jared has a secret? And then, it could start spreading around. But again, a little bit of jumping the gun there because it hasn't gone that far quite yet.
Let's pray that it doesn't. But knowing Jared, I know for a fact that he's going to bring this up again. He's gonna bring it up again.
I'm kind of into it at this point. I'm kind of like, given how good Cirie is positioned right now and how well she's playing the game, like I feel like let's see her deal with the secret being exposed. I think she can handle it.
It's like, yeah, now you have to play Big Brother and still be a parent. Let's see how you can do that.
Oh boy. All right. Well, Aman, anything else you want to bring up?
No, that's it. This was a very, very interesting and aggravating day yesterday on Feeds, but all in all, I'm still having a great time with BB25.
Yes. All right. Well, that's what we have for you today. Of course, I'll be back tomorrow morning at 11 a.m. Eastern to update you on everything that happens today on the Big Brother 25 live feeds. I say that there is like a hurricane/tropical storm approaching my location at this moment. So I mean, listen, I'll be here. I'll be on my phone if I need to. I still haven't missed a day, and no storm's gonna stop me yet.
When is it supposed to hit?
Be aware. Yeah, it's I mean, I think tomorrow morning is probably going to be fine. I think tomorrow night is going to be the biggest thing. Might lose some power. I think losing cell service would be the only thing that stops me, I think. But so that's there's a storm brewing both for me and the house as well.
I was here to say, I wonder how that's gonna affect the house, if at all.
Yeah.
Can you imagine that?
They let them go out into the backyard last night. They don't usually do that between HOH and Veto. I'm assuming they did that because they know that they're not going to be able to go outside on like Sunday and Monday. And so they were giving them some outside time. So stay tuned. Also, join me over on Twitch, twitch.tv/Taran Armstrong. There's so much to say about the Jared stuff. Maybe I'll go live and we'll talk some more about it over there if you want to like discuss it with me, and if you really need to be sort of educated about it, or think that you have a great point that will dismantle all of my arguments, or whatever.
Oh my God, Taran, did you
Let's
literally
chill.
just invite people to have that aggravating conversation with you on your?
Listen. I'm the one to have it with. Okay. Like.
Well, he said Taran Armstrong. He did not say Aman Adwin. Don't bring that shit over here. Don't do it.
Yeah. Bring it to me. Don't bother other people with it. All right. Stop attacking people in my mentions. Stop attacking other people. Come to me with this stuff. And I'll tell you why misogyny is bad. Okay.
Now, when you come out of those conversations ready to swing on somebody, if this becomes Taran's villain origin story, don't say I didn't tell you so.
And no, we are not debate broing either. By the way, that's not what we're doing. But come find me over on Twitch, twitch.tv/Taran Armstrong. Again, tomorrow night, episode, live watching the episode, hopefully, and then podcast afterward. And we'll continue on with all of this. Aman, what do you got going on?
Just same old big brother. You can follow me everywhere at Aman Adwin. I might actually go live on Twitch later tonight. I've been thinking about playing some Sims again, and I was like, hey, why don't you, hang out on Twitch? I haven't hung out on Twitch in like months, so I might actually be doing that. If I do go live on Twitch later today or tonight, I'll send out a tweet or something. So just hit me up over there as well. I'm on Adwin on Twitch as well.
All right. Well, that's what we have for you today. Sorry. Hope you enjoyed. Thank you for joining us, and I will see all of you next time.